Top 5 mistakes directors make all the time. With years of experience directing commercials for international brands, I've made these mistakes myself and seen other directors repeating them. I'm making this video for you to learn from them and prevent unnecessary hardships and potential career setbacks. I've also left a small little gift for you all, so be sure to watch this video till the very end. So mistake number 1 is not analyzing the brief. This is where the whole process starts. So you've got this new brief from a client or an advertising agency, and there's all sorts of information about the objectives, target audience, brand details, and the key message they want to convey. This document is your guide, is your map, your holy grail for creating a commercial that aligns perfectly with the brand's vision and goals. So don't just skim it. You need to analyze the brief thoroughly. Understand every angle, every line, every word. This isn't just about knowing the brand, their products or colors, etc. You need to grasp the essence of the message. Who's the target audience for this ad campaign? What mood does the agency want to evoke? Now, of course, every brief has its nuances. There might be exceptions, yeah. Sometimes you might feel a need to change things up a little bit to make it better, and that's okay. But you should be ready to lose the job if you change too much. And sometimes it's not even your fault, really. Some briefs can be really badly written. But if the video turns out bad, everyone will point fingers at you, the director. So make sure to clarify anything that's unclear and put in the maximum effort to understand the brief. Now, if you want to change everything, make sure you have a solid reason to do so. Justifying your changes with your personal experience, access to some data, or some insider knowledge can really make it very convincing. Moving on to another mistake, stealing ideas and copying from other people's work. I've had some directors sending me their work, their portfolio to evaluate, and there are times when it looks suspiciously similar to other work in more than one way. It's like watching the same video twice with the same style, same idea, same message, just under a different brand. It's like when you see someone flexing a Louis Vuitton bag. You think, well, alright, good for you. But then on a closer look, you realize it's not even a real Louis V. And that's exactly how I feel when I see work that is a blatant ripoff of someone else's idea. There might always be a market for this and small brands willing to pay for such non-original ideas. But in the world of high-end jobs, you have the budgets. So it's easy to make something look cool, like that other video. But what brands really pay for and value in directors is the voice. And so it's best to practice it from the very start of your career. An original idea with a simple technique and a cheap execution will take you much farther than an expensive copy of someone else's work that's already been done before. Especially in this day and age when OpenAI's Sora can create virtually anything. We are entering this new era where a director with a unique voice and original approach will truly be valued. And on top of that, copying is just ethically incorrect. If your work is a copy, you'll have to be ready to explain yourself to other filmmakers who will probably be able to tell. And if you haven't made it better than the original, then it also won't last. It won't have the impact or the longevity you're hoping for. So my advice is when you are watching other people's work, look for inspiration and not duplication. And better yet, draw from the world around you, not films, experiences, or other mediums like poetry or music. Because remember, in the end, it's all about creating something that resonates with people on a deep personal level. And that can only happen if your work is true to yourself. Number 3, neglecting the storyboard. Learn from my experience. Everything becomes 10 times better when you have a storyboard. It makes communication clearer, sets accurate expectations, and makes shooting just faster. Imagine this. You're on set, surrounded by 55 people who are paid only for a 12-hour day. The whole team is waiting for you to figure out how and what you want to shoot. That's a lot of unnecessary pressure, right? Well, you can easily avoid it by prepping your storyboard in advance. Even if you don't have the budget to hire a professional storyboard artist, you can still get creative with this. You can scribble stick figures, which, by the way, I think is the easiest and most creatively fulfilling method. Or you can use platforms like Frameset or ShotDeck to find reference images and make sequences out of them. So my whole point here is you can't ignore storyboards. They're key to organizing your shoot days, your logistics, and they will make your production process a whole lot easier and smoother. Now let's take a moment to talk about Audio, a music licensing platform that I've recently found, and I think they have a very unique proposition in this market. Ever come across a song on Spotify, TikTok, or YouTube, and you're like, man, I wish I could find a song similar to this for my project? Well, Audio's Link Match AI is your answer. You simply paste the source link into Audio, and their AI digs through their entire catalog to find you a similar match. It's a major time saver, helping you find the perfect sound for your work way faster than traditional search methods. That will help you spend that time focusing on actual creative stuff rather than sitting at a desk all day and searching for music. Audio also has a feature called Elements that I find extremely useful. It allows you to customize song stems for every track on their platform, enabling you to adjust, remix, and tailor the music to precisely fit your project. Often, while exploring music on various platforms, you might find a track that's almost perfect, but maybe the drum doesn't hit right, or there are too many instruments making it feel cluttered. This is where elements come in handy. I usually find music that I enjoy melodically, but I prefer to strip it down to its bare bones to match my style. So if you're a creator who appreciates high quality music and sound effects, consider checking out Audio and enjoy a 70% discount for your first year subscription, making it just $59 when using my code NOOR70, and you will find the link in the description. Number 4, writing bad treatments. When we talk about a director's treatment, we're referring to a comprehensive document that outlines your vision, narrative, visual style, tone, mood, storyboards, and sometimes even references to other films. But the goal here is to really sell your vision to your client or agency, and prove that you understand this brief and can translate it into an excellent commercial. I've actually done a deep dive into treatments before. You can check it out in this other video I made about my process of writing treatments on my channel. All right, so here's the thing. You can't just write a treatment for the sake of it, because it's a super important part of choosing a director for a job. So you can't afford to be careless here. And one of the biggest mistakes I see is directors failing to articulate themselves. Too often people let AIs like ChatGPT write for them. Sometimes it might work, it might sound pretty, but it often ends up being too flowery, lacking your unique style and voice. And then designing the treatment is another area where many directors really struggle. When the images don't convey the story or the layout confuses the reader. I've often been up against big name directors where the odds are really stacked against me, but I poured everything into a personal, intricate, visually pleasing, and concise treatment and won the jobs again and again. So if you don't put enough effort into your treatment, you'll end up having to explain everything all over again to your team and collaborators. But it's totally avoidable if you make sure your treatment is clear and concise from the get-go. And here's one more thing to consider. Your treatment is the base layer for the producers to calculate expenses. If it's poorly written, then the producers might estimate the budget too low. And in that case, that will lead to disappointment and might really damage your career down the line. So treatments are not just about selling an idea. They're about selling yourself as the director of that idea. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I have a small gift for you. If you want to see an example treatment that I did for one of my projects, you can download and study it by following a link in the description. I'm sharing it with you as I always find it's interesting to compare initial ideas with the final video to see how they evolve throughout the production. And I have also made 3 new treatment design templates based on the real treatments I made for my real projects. As always, check out the links, and now back to the video. Mistake number 5, the last one, being a shitty communicator. So I recently had a conversation with a fellow director, and let's just say it was a bit shocking to me. He was telling me all about his perfect vision for a film, but then he started complaining about his crew. And according to him, they were all terrible at their jobs and couldn't understand what he wanted. Then he went on a whole nother ramble about how some of them left the project and how he felt his vision was being compromised or even resisted. Now I was taken aback because he started naming his crew names, his crew members, and to my surprise, they were the same people I often collaborate with. And these people are some of the best and sweetest people in this industry. So this got me thinking, maybe the problem wasn't the crew. Maybe it was the director's lack of communication skills. And let's face it, let's be honest here. Film sets are high stress environments. If your communication skills are lacking or you can't find ways to resolve issues, you're gonna have a tough time building your career, no matter how talented you are. Always communicate. Stay in touch with your key creative crew at all times if possible. Be sure to send images, video references, voice memos if you feel like something was unclear or that the person didn't understand something. Make sure that what is being discussed has the same appearance in your and your team's minds. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask questions. If someone is trying to explain something to you and is using words or language you're not familiar with, ask them to clarify. Don't be afraid to seem stupid, because you won't unless you don't ask. Let's say you tell your art department you want a retro telephone in a scene. Your idea of a retro might be 90s cell phone, but your set designer might assume you're referring to the 70s rotary phone. Then you arrive on set and you see this phone and it's not what you envisioned. Whose fault is it really? So remember this, the clearer you formulate and communicate your ideas, the less butt pain you will experience down the line, and will ultimately be happier with the results and maybe even be a happier person overall. So these are 5 mistakes beginner directors make when making films, short films, music videos, and commercials. If you've already stumbled into some of these, no worries. It's all part of this learning game. I'm super intrigued to hear about your experiences on set. If you ever had any epic stories while directing, I can't wait to hear them. And I will see you in the next video.